Welcome to New York's #2 sports show. The New York Rangers win their third straight game, their second consecutive win coming back from the All-Star break. They beat the Tampa Bay Lightning 3-1. So 2 games in a row against upper echelon teams in the NHL. Rangers first beat the Colorado Avalanche 2-1, and now the Tampa Bay Lightning 3-1. So Jonathan Quick was in net again. And I had said last episode that I thought that Igor would get the net for this game against Andrei Vasilevsky, and Igor's had really good numbers in his career versus Tampa, but they did not do that. And I don't disagree with that decision. Quick has certainly earned the right to play, and Igor has struggled. So we'll see what happens next game in Chicago. You really could go either way with that. I wouldn't have a problem if you decide to go back to Shesterkin, or if you want to just let Quick keep keep getting the starts. But at the same time, I think that against a bottom feeder team like Chicago, not to say the Rangers will win, but maybe it's good to kind of get Igor in there, hope he has a good game, and maybe that can get the confidence back going for him a little bit. But it wasn't as if Quick was really tested a whole lot in this game. Did make some good saves, was very good again, and was, of course, one of the stars of the game. But nice to see the Rangers get some bottom 6 contributions. They get a couple of goals from Jimmy Vesey, one being an empty net goal, but Vesey, who I think among, you talk about the bottom 6 players on the Rangers, I think that Vesey is definitely one of the better ones within that crew. He now has 11 goals in the season. I do believe that at least a couple of them are empty net goals, but still, that's as many goals as I think he had all of last year. He played 81 games last year, had 11 goals. Now in 49 games, he has that same amount. And I actually thought that Vesey had a pretty damn good season last year. But the goals are coming more frequently in this campaign. And Jonny Brodzinski, he scores what would turn out to be the game-winning goal. And look, he is in a role that is probably certainly more than I think the Ranger organization was hoping for. He is kind of your third-line center. Again, I don't like to, when it comes to these lines, there's a very clear top 6 and a very clear bottom 6. So the point is that Brodzinski, he is a center on, a line that gets, he ends up playing probably, 11 to 13 minutes a night. And it's not as if he's been hard by any means. Obviously, you want to upgrade from that position, but Brodzinski gets a key goal, which was good to see. Jacob Trouba returns to the lineup, and I said last episode that I was hoping that maybe, I knew they wouldn't, but I was hoping that maybe that they would try to, stick with Miller and Schneider. That didn't happen, and Trouba was fine. Trouba, was steady enough in this game. Gustafsson had actually left the game for a little bit. He left towards the end of the second period. He got a puck to the face, came back out for the third period with a face shield, so he should be no worse for wear as far as playing. I'm sure it's not easy with the shield, but he seemed to be okay. There was a scary incident in this game involving Sergachev from the Lightning, who had just come back from injury, actually. He was out for a while and had a collision with Alexis Lafreniere in the second period towards the corner. And at that point, Sergachev was kind of going for a hit, and Lafreniere bracing himself for the hit. Really, I didn't see anything that was anywhere near malicious. I don't think Tampa Bay took it that way. Obviously, it's a scary situation when you see what unfolded, but Sergachev looked like it didn't look good. That left leg, I don't know, looked like it had the looks of a season-ending injury. And they had to bring the stretcher out for him. He was in tears, and players from both teams left their benches. You don't always, even on serious injuries like this one, it was kind of a clear cut. This was not going to be good. So hopefully Sergachev will be okay. But I'm sure if you're a Lightning fan, that's a big topic of conversation within this game. But keeping in mind, as far as Tampa was concerned, they had not played for a while. I think it had maybe been like 11 days since their last game. So and I do feel like it actually did take them a while to kind of get into it. I thought that their best period was probably the third. The third period, I thought that they, Rangers played a good second period, had a 2-0 lead, but Tampa, kind of, made it really interesting, and the Rangers kind of had to hold them off. So as far as this game is concerned, not a whole lot more to discuss, and beyond what I said, really, there was only like 3 penalties all game combined. So first period, there was no goals or penalties, and I thought that the first, not a whole lot of action. Shots were 6-5 Lightning, but I was fine with the way the Rangers played that. Like, it seems as if the Rangers play better in more defensive style, low scoring games. Now, I'm sure like that, if you're a head coach, like that is how you would draw it up. Like obviously a win's a win, but the coaching staff would prefer to win a game 2-1 than 5-4. But it just seems like the Rangers, they've had some success when, if you were to tell me, hey, like it was a game that had, no more than 5 goals in it. Seems as if the Rangers may win that game. Whereas the high scoring ones, the Rangers, when they lose, they give up a lot of goals. So the track meet ones, they've won them, right? You think back to that Boston Bruins game towards the end of November. Like, they've won high scoring games, but I think this suits them a lot better. And they're not giving up a crazy amount of chances. And for whatever the reason, they play well in front of Quick. And also the biggest key is that Quick himself has, really played very steadily, for most of the season. So we go to the second period. Rangers score quickly into that second. 1:15 in, it's Jimmy Vesey scoring his 10th goal of the season from Goodrow and Pitlick. So this was a play where a little bit of an odd man rush. Keandre Miller makes a nice play, and then some quick passing from Pitlick to Goodrow to Vesey. And Vasilevsky kind of cheated. He was thinking that maybe Vesey would go for the 2-on-1 pass, and instead, last moment on the backhand, he goes top shelf. So a nice play by Vesey, who's got a little bit of skill for someone in the bottom 6. That's a goal that was a big one for the Rangers, gives them a 1-0 lead. Then soon thereafter, at 2:05, Panarin is held. And so the Rangers go on a power play, but they don't score. And the Ranger power play has, while it hasn't had many chances, which is part of the problem, it has not been very good lately. Whether you want to say just the way it looks and the results, to me, I mean, it doesn't seem like it's a power play that's about to break out. Hopefully it just takes one sort of lucky goal to get them going. So the Rangers keep that 1-0 lead. Like I said, towards the end of the second, you get that ugly Sergachev injury. The Rangers take a 2-0 lead at 17:46. It's Jonny Brodzinski with his 3rd goal of the season from Kreider and Wheeler. So this was in the middle of a line change. And you have Wheeler and Kreider along the boards. Nice job. Wheeler's kind of battling it out. And then Kreider finds it and quickly passes to Brodzinski, who fires a slap shot from the slot and scores past Vasilevsky. It's one that Vasilevsky's going to want to have back. It just went from what seemed like a dead play to a good job by Brodzinski, just firing it on net. And that's why, you want them to do that more often. They do it there, and the Rangers take a 2-0 lead. Then, just as had happened earlier, where the Rangers get a goal, they then get a power play. And it was less than a minute later. Braden Point holds Adam Fox at 18:43. This power play goes into the third period. Rangers don't score on it, so Rangers go 0-for-2 on the power play. In the third period, Tampa Bay was better, and they score to cut the lead in half. It's Brandon Hagel scoring his 17th goal of the season from Chernak and Kucherov. So now all of a sudden it's a 2-1 game, but the Rangers did tighten up a bit. Tampa Bay had probably a little bit more of zone possession than the Rangers did. And to make things a little bit more interesting, the Rangers take their first penalty of the night. Mika Zibanejad holds Kucherov at 15:22, and Tampa Bay has the best power play in the league. So it's good they stayed in the box. And this was a really good penalty go from the Rangers. They did not allow much at all. And so eventually they kill that off, and then it's a 6-on-4 for the Lightning. But the Rangers would score an empty net goal, and it was Vesey, 2nd of the night, 11th goal of the season from Goodrow. So Goodrow with a couple of assists. Points have been hard to come by for him, but he gets a couple of points versus former team. And then Vincent Trocheck gets the other assist. So at 18:59, Rangers take a 3-1 lead, and they win by that 3-1 score. So they will face the Lightning one more time this season, but they are 2-0 versus them this year. They are 7-0-1 against the Lightning in their last eight games. However, that does not include the Eastern Conference Final from 2022. So the unfortunate thing is that the Rangers do seem to have the Lightning's number. I mean, look, this has been a good team in this league. And when it's that much of a sample size, it's, there's something to it. And so it's just so frustrating and unfortunate. The Rangers in that game 3 in 2022, 2-0 lead and 2-0, in the game and the series, and it all goes away. And, look, I think there's a good chance that with the score, you may look back at that as the closest that they would get. Obviously, look, we'll see what happens this year and moving forward, but the Lightning were able to get the better of the Rangers when it really counted. So now the Rangers will hit the road for one game against the Chicago Blackhawks. The Blackhawks are actually playing tonight. And as I'm recording this, they are trailing after what appeared to be a poor first period. They were outshot 11-1 versus the Minnesota Wild. They're home in that game, Chicago, and they're down 1-0. So the Rangers will play the Blackhawks, who they have, or I believe they had played them somewhat recently at the Garden. They beat them 4-1 about a month ago. Chicago's record right now sits at 14-34-2. So this really is one of the worst teams in the league. But you just never know. The Rangers, look, the Rangers lost to the San Jose Sharks. So we've kind of seen lately that the Rangers will, against the better teams in the league, they'll kind of step up. But also, you never know what they might do against some of the lesser competition. So hopefully, the more I think about it, I think that getting Igor in there is probably the right thing to do. But if Quick plays again, I'm certainly not going to complain about that. But hopefully Shesterkin, because they're going to need him. As good as Quick has been, it's great to have him there as an option. But if the Rangers are going to go anywhere in the playoffs, Igor is going to have to be a pretty big part of that. So it's going to be important for him to get on track. But again, Rangers with a nice victory. They've come out of the break with some gritty wins. First against the Colorado Avalanche, and tonight they defeat the Tampa Bay Lightning at MSG 3-1.